The first year I came into this world, I only increased my strength by 1 point and could break rocks with one punch, shattered to pieces. In the second year, I again increased my strength. I used to twist the big knife like an iron ball with my bare hands. On the basis of this ability, I got a job as a policeman in the city and started getting food from the royal palace. In the third year, war broke out between the Great Qin Empire and the enemies of the north. It was lucky that I had no one of my own. The general was afraid of lonely people like me. They thought I could run away and could also rebel. That's why I was not forced into the army. But unfortunately, my captain was sent to war. Before leaving, the captain handed over his 10-year-old daughter, Su Qingran, to me. After that, he never came back. In the fourth year, with 4 points of strength, I became almost the most powerful among ordinary humans. Had finished. One day, some bandits attacked the city, but I fell upon them alone with a sword. And within a few moments, he killed more than 20 bandits. Old Man accepted me as his successor. People all over the city started thinking of me as the guardian. There was just one small problem left. The bandits I killed. Among them was a man named Yiyu. His elder brother Yifeng had joined the sect of Immortal cultivators 2 years ago. It was said that Immortal cultivators never take long to take revenge. The good thing was that he was still a new disciple. He was not going to be allowed to come down from the mountain before the age of 20. I calculated and took a sigh of relief. Who will kill whom after 20 years? It was not decided yet. 11th year, 10-point strength had given me so much strength that one punch of mine could break mountains. I felt that there was some change in strength, so I wrote a point for the first time. Tried to increase it. Wherever I went that year, luck was with me. I got money while walking. While going, as soon as I put the hook in the river, I felt nauseous, as if the lake itself was my own. SH. A similar person was present. I thought that person was me, but after investigation I found out that the real lucky one turned out to be Shi Qingran. Shi Qingran was not ready to go, because she already knew the secret of my staying young forever. That desire. He said, I had no spiritual roots. Taking me to a sect was just like increasing the burden. I was directly refused. As compensation, Immortal Master asked me to choose one thing. Given a chance, I did not ask for any divine weapon. I only asked for a cultivation art that would last forever. Powers instead of. Immortal Master looked at me as if I was an idiot standing in front of him. Still, he threw me a book. Its name was Glacier Art. 2 spiritual X's together. Also gave. It was written in that book in 300 years. Round. The old mayor retired, and I became the new mayor. My condition was very scary at that time. It was over. Kept requesting me to become a master, but I refused everyone. I knew very well that there was always trouble and enmity behind such people. If you make one a disciple, then there will be no peace for the rest of your life. Get. There was no need to get up. I just picked up a drop of tea with my finger and tossed it. The drop came out like a cannonball, and threw the instigator several dozen meters away. The road collapsed. Everyone trembled with fear. After this, the real responsible came forward, that of Jinwu Vibhak of Great Qin Empire. He was a general. He had come to call me to save the country. I just asked one question. Is there anyone in Great China? The second immortal cultivator did not survive, because when I first came to this world, then with my eyes I saw an immortal cultivator descend from the sky and hold it in one palm. Saw the entire city being destroyed. That's why I decided to increase my strength secretly. Now how did it suddenly happen that there was no one left worth using? The general explained that there was another immortal cultivator, but he died behind closed doors years ago. I had gone into cultivation and had broken all ties with worldly matters. Now my only hope was from me. From his words, I came to know that this world was not the real immortal world. The real cultivation world was in spiritual realm. If the cultivators there are forced, if we descend into this world, then heavenly rules, used to suppress their power. That's why very few people came down. I was relieved to hear this, meaning really powerful people in this world. There weren't many. If I remained hidden for a few thousand more years, I could become the most powerful person in the world. As far as going to war was concerned, I immediately refused. I simply disappeared. The war. It was very dangerous. I would stay away from it at all costs. It was written in that letter that there was a huge snake hidden in the mountains which was about to turn into a dragon. He was doing farming by killing humans. After reading the letter, I asked the people standing nearby whether anyone had walked several dozen meters. Saw a long injured snake. After some time, I found that huge snake inside the mountains. He read it while he was dying. The giant snake roared angrily and said that all he needed was a few more humans, and then he would have become a dragon. He said that I ruined his immortal path, and I was sent to heavenly. Will get punishment. I replied directly that After that I got new power to attack from a distance. At that time I had to realize the true power. But all these things did not make much difference to me. I then went into closed-door cultivation for several decades. The outside world kept changing rapidly. A new emperor ascends the throne in the Great Qing Empire. At the same time, real trouble came to the little martial world. Yi Feng, who had joined the Immortal sect 30 years ago, had returned. Yi Feng, who was poor and weak 30 years ago, has now become a real immortal cultivator. Had finished. This time he had come to avenge the death of his younger brother, especially since he had scared away the 4 big sect leaders of the small martial world, then discovered that there was a person like me hidden in the city who broke mountains, could cut rivers, and he immediately understood that it was necessary to kill his brother. Maybe I was the one. As far as my strength was concerned, he did not feel afraid at all. Because mountain to break. The one who had come himself had come. It was not wrong to first try with 2 punches. If he survived, then he would. I would have thrown it out. It had been many decades since I came into this world. My strength is now 35 points. My true strength had reached Immortal. Will destroy people. In his eyes, common humans were nothing more than ants. Yi Feng didn't talk much nonsense. He raised his hand and attacked directly with the flying swords. All around, the people present trembled with fear. But I just raised 2 fingers and easily caught his flying sword. After that I gave a light shake with his fingers. The force of the terrifying counterattack fell directly on Yi Feng, and he was blown several hundred meters away. I felt a little disappointed. Yi Feng got angry after hearing this, and asked if these were the real immortal cultivators. He went mad, took out his life-bound treasure, and left countless swords in the sky. Granted, he wanted to kill me completely by biting me, but I waved my hand, and the golden dragon, energy roaring, we came out. In a moment, all the swords in the sky broke. After that I said that now the time had come to show my true cultivation. I stood at a distance and pointed my finger in the air. It burst. The earth trembled. A terrible shock shook Yi Feng. He was turned into pieces of meat at the same place. His body was destroyed in just one blow, standing nearby. All the martial artists listened in fear. Everyone was frozen. No one was able to even breathe. Unable to muster the courage, I said with calm eyes, "Hope." Got a place in sect. The man also told that the sect leader wanted to live in the Great Qin Empire. Vala was the only immortal cultivator. It was said that he was stuck in the 4th level for 100 years. Had happened. I said with a cold face that the sect will throw this. Like making a person a disciple. He couldn't be good himself. After that incident, my life became calm again. All 4 sect leaders wanted to get my dilapidated old house rebuilt, but I refused. 80 years had passed. Old acquaintances had died one by one. Only that old. The house still held memories of the past days. After some time, the same old general of Jinbu department. Then came to me the man who used to be full of enthusiasm. Now he had become an old man with white hair. I looked at him and asked if the war was not over yet. The old general said in a heavy voice that after the death of the old emperor, a new ruler had ascended the throne. There was chaos in the court. The first defense line was broken. Now only the elder princess, Livrian, was in charge of the army. He himself entered the battlefield and barely managed to defend himself. Was saving the line, she said. See. The old man felt that I was going to refuse again. He quickly pointed out that even though Lu Ruyan, she was a woman, but she had the courage of an old emperor. He said that if Great Qin lost, so the enemies of the north are killing the people of the entire country. I replied in a calm voice that I had not refused yet. I just said that. After all the generals were dead, it did not seem right for a woman to handle the war alone. Two deep footprints were left on the ground. At that time, dead bodies were scattered on the battlefield of Don Ashia Pass, 3,000 miles away. Grand Princess Lu Rian stood under the broken dragon flag. His silver armor was completely red with blood. At that time, the Great Qin Princess. It was the last respect. Thousands of soldiers were waiting outside the city to attack. But the real danger was present in the sky. Like blood there, red. Cup. She said that Lu Ruyan had good cultivation ability. If she became his disciple, so perhaps some of the descendants of the Great Qin dynasty would have been left alive. Otherwise, it's over today. The city would be cut up and turned into spirits. Taken. The black spirits gathered together and transformed into a giant ghostly claw and smashed into the city wall. Late. This attack was his full force. The common human army faced that attack in a moment. Would have turned into mud. Lu Rian looked disappointed. BM. The physical power was extremely dangerous. That green light directly hit that huge ghostly claw. The next moment, the entire claw broke and turned into black smoke. But that light did not stop. It went straight into the city. Fell on the ground in front of the wall. The earth cracked loudly. The powerful, terrifying blow threw thousands of enemy soldiers and horses into the air, completely. The battlefield became silent for a few moments. Be it the enemy army or the soldiers of the city, everyone was speechless. Left standing, the dust slowly started clearing from the ground. Vi. Looked at Lu Ruyan and asked if she was the person responsible here. Lu Ruyan a few moments, kept looking at me till. Then she started asking in a lustful voice that I am the immortal of which Immortal Mountain was a master. I replied directly that there was no immortal master. I looked at the old man standing in the sky and said that I was just the mayor of a small city. I heard that some people were creating trouble here. That's why I came to solve the matter. The old man standing in the sky immediately cast his divine sense on me, but he did not feel any spiritual energy in his body. He was surprised and shouted that I was just. There was a man who thought I was an ordinary martial artist. That sword moved straight towards my forehead. Standing on the wall, Lu Ruyan screamed in fear. I got up, but I did not even move from my place. As soon as the sword reached near my forehead, I pointed my finger, picked it up and shook it lightly. She is the one who cuts iron. S. It was not possible that any spiritual sword could be broken from the human body. I just said that his sword was very weak. After this I bent slightly and planted my feet on the ground. The earth beneath the feet immediately broke. The next moment I had reached the sky. It was not flying. I just jumped and reached the top. Old man. The man's eyes narrowed in fear, giving him just enough time to quickly turn away from the spirit. Able to make a shield, he said in fear that I would leave. His spiritual shield vanished like paper. Paharani kept looking at me, but I did not pay attention to anyone. He pointed towards the dead body of the old man lying there, and then asked whether he belonged to the Chiyu sect. Later on they will come to take revenge. I was afraid of people coming. I was most afraid of trouble if the work here was finished. It was better that we never meet again. I was about to leave, but then Lu Rian quickly stopped me. He said that the throne of Great Qin was vacant. If I wanted, the whole empire could be mine. I waved my hand and took my hat down. I said I was just a small city head. There was no need to tell anyone about what happened today. After saying this, I took a step forward and disappeared into the dark night. After returning to Gantang City, my life became the same again, as if nothing had happened. At 85 my strength reached 40 points. At that time I realized that just increasing my strength was getting less benefit. My body was so. I found it difficult to bear the terrible power. That is why from next year Sherry. She used to go there to worship on the 1st and 15th. Very few people know. She was waiting for someone. At that time I was sitting on the bank of the city's pond. Was feeling fishy. In these 10 years I have gained 5 points of body strength. Now my body had become as strong as a high-level spiritual weapon. If any, had the golden core cultivator also attacked me while standing, my skin would probably have been peeled off. 95 years I suddenly found an incomplete map in the hands of martial arts people. That map. I had information about the ancient teleport location leading to the spiritual world. I took a look, saw it, and pressed it under the book and made it a support for the table. My way to go to the spiritual world. Any intention? No. It was enough to destroy many powerful cultivators there. In the 100th year, the old people of Gantang City left the world one by one. Slowly, I became the oldest person in the city. But my face was still like that of a 20-year-old youth, so that people would not get suspicious, so I disguised myself. Using the skill of transformation, he made a mustache on himself and started looking like a middle-aged man. Another one dressed in very beautiful and royal clothes in the city. I recognized her at first sight. She was Liurian. 20 years had passed. The signs of time were visible on my face. He knew that I did not like trouble. That's why. Because he tried to find me for 20 years. No. He did not touch upon the old times. I also did not mention that war incident. Both of them kept talking like old friends. We talked about the crops of the city, the crops of the neighbors, laughed at big things. At that moment, she became a great queen. And I was also not some mysterious, powerful person. At that time, we were just living in the world. The two were like ordinary humans. Knew that the entire human life was too short for me. 115 years, my strength reached 50 points. Body strength had also increased to 20 points. Now the strength of my body had increased so much that I had to control my strength even while walking. Used to be. The same year there was a winter with heavy snowfall. The neighborhood courtyard was unusually quiet that day. I opened the door and went inside. There was white-haired Lu Ruyan lying quietly on the chair. A thick fur blanket was placed over his body. The same clothes she wore when she met me for the first time. He was quite old now. He looked at me. His dim eyes suddenly had the same sparkle that they had for many years. Earlier there was a look in the eyes of a young girl. She said in a satisfied voice that she had spent 15 years. Had tea with me till now. Now he has no regrets. She knew I hated trouble. As long as the Great Chin existed, people could not easily harass Gontang City. Now he said with a weak smile. His time was over. In this life, my I placed a hot cup in front of him. I softly said that in the next life he will be included in the royal family. Shouldn't have been born, and shouldn't have met someone with a long life. He should have met someone like that. Should have spent entire life with a person so that she really loved. For the 120th year, I again felt the same strange restlessness, but that time he was not afraid. I started to feel clearly that this world was beginning to reject me. My strength, it had increased so much that every breath of mine used to shake spiritual energy, me more clearly than before. I had to hide my aura. I sit in front of the same broken table every day and kept thinking with empty eyes. Then one day the sky really disappeared from me. The sky above Gontang City shattered like broken glass. A huge black whirlpool began to appear in the middle of it. The biggest thing was that I had no desire for this world. I felt myself throwing myself out. This world couldn't handle me anymore. Streams of white light started descending from the sky. This world was going to send me out whether I wanted it or not. I let out a sigh and said maybe it was time to move. I looked back at Gontang City. 120 years of my memories were present in this place. I went inside the house and took out the old, incomplete map buried under the table. Then he also kept the jade left by Lu Ruyan. I looked at the sky and said that there was no need to hurry because I could go myself. Was staying. After this, I stepped into the air and moved straight towards that gaping crack. Before leaving this world, I looked towards Gontang City for the last time, then raised my finger, gave a light gesture. Soft golden light covered the entire city. I spent 5 points. 100 years of peace and prosperity for the entire city. I gave up on fate. I said that this was my last meeting. The next moment the light flashed and the body completely disappeared. The people of Gontang City fell to their knees on the ground. Everyone. Tears started flowing from the eyes. Stone outside the city. Bored. Had reached. This was the sacred land of immortal cultivators, but at the same time weak. It was a place like hell for people. I was standing on a huge ascension platform. All around, cultivators dressed in different clothes had gathered, but as soon as everyone looked at me, a man laughingly said that the Chiyu sect was the most dangerous demon in the north. Was one of the sects. said the fat cultivator. At first he started digging with his nose after seeing the gold, but at last he raised his hand. After showing him the direction, he said that 30,000 miles to the north was the darkest place. The energy area itself was Chiyu sect. He explained to me that the people there, Peter turned towards the direction, then I bent slightly and applied strength to the ground. The next moment, complete ascension. The platform broke with a loud bang. That platform was thousands of years old divine. Was made of stones. It was said that, big. That big cultivator was frozen and trembling. He was standing holding the gold given by me with his hands. His legs were trembling with fear. He could not understand which monster it was. The distance of 30,000 miles was a journey of several days for common cultivators. But for me it was just a matter of a few big leaps. After half an hour, I reached the Black Mountains of the north. The entire area was filled with thick black smoke and terrible energy. The main mountain of Chiyu sect was present in the same place. Inside the main building at that time, Baldaming Ancestor, the leader of Chiyu sect, was shouting angrily. He was scolding his men by calling them useless. He said that 80 years had passed, but the city head of the world below had not been found yet. He reminded that I took away the life-bound treasure and the body of their ninth elder in one punch. Both were broken. Because of that incident, Chiyu sect gained full respect in the lower world. It was over. He said that if revenge is not taken, then Chiyu sect would have become a complete joke. All the elders standing below were silent out of fear. At last the eldest elders explained in a lustful voice that heavenly pressure on the world below. It was too much. If more powerful cultivators had come down, the whole mountain shook violently. Countless buildings collapsed. Screams everywhere started resonating. Bloodming Ancestor immediately ran out with the rest of the people. Everyone saw that the field, a huge crater had formed in the middle. The dust slowly cleared away. I was wondering how a person without energy could do this. He asked out loud who I was, and why was it entered into Chiyu's sect. I straightened my cap and looked at everyone with calm eyes. Then, I said that I was the city head of Gontang City. As per my words, the whole atmosphere became quiet. The blooming ancestor's eyes widened. He understood immediately that I was the same person whom he had been searching for 80 years. He angrily sent me to the world below, said Mad Body Cultivator. I nodded slowly, then said that I had heard that those people were looking for me for 80 years. I hated trouble the most. For this reason, the first day of Ascension, I came here myself. I clearly said that I am not going to take all the trouble. Wanted to finish at once. The bleeding ancestor's face upon hearing my words turned red with anger. His eyes filled with blood-filled determination. He shouted that in the world below, he couldn't harm me. But now this was the spiritual world. Here he was a cultivator of the divine transformation level. He immediately ordered all the elders to prepare 10,000 soul-devouring formation. He said that by holding me, my soul would have been burnt in the lamp forever, his voice ending. As soon as it happened, dozens of elders came into action together. The sky turned black. Filled with energy, countless souls spread across the sky. Terrifying screams were heard from every direction. Started giving. The power of the entire sect fell upon me simultaneously, but I did not even move from my place. I didn't even try to escape. I just took a deep breath and slowly raised his right hand. At that time my strength was 50 points. It had almost reached 11 points. I slowly clenched my fist. Then he threw a punch forward. There was no light in the punch. No power of law. The air was compressed so much in an instant that there was a terrible explosion, a huge white-colored air. The wave burst straight towards the front. Dozens of elders didn't even get a chance to scream. Their bodies became rain of blood at that very moment. But the power of the wind. She didn't even stop. She kept moving straight towards Bloodming Ancestor. After a moment, everything calmed down. Gone. The main mountain of Chiyu sect had completely disappeared. In its place, several hundred miles long, a huge gap had formed. I followed. Mudak. If I had stuck here and cultivated, my strength could have increased faster. I decided in my mind to first find a quiet human town, then relax there. Cultivation was done by sticking for 10,000 years. When all my powers reached 10,000 points, had I reached it, then perhaps I would have truly become unbeatable in the whole world. Thinking this, I smiled slightly and took down the cap. The Ascension platform incident spread to 17 nearby cities within half a day. After 3 days, the news of the end of Chiyu sect spread like wildfire in the entire northern spiritual world. It spread, but no one linked these two incidents. Because no one believed that a person came from the world below, and thousands of people were born in an hour, could destroy year-old demonic sect. This thing was good for me. The less people paid attention to me, the better. The safest way was to stay chipped. After finishing Chiyu sect, I deliberately slowed down my pace. After all, this was not the world below. There were dangerous people everywhere. I decided it was better to stay here quietly at first. I continued walking towards the south. Wherever I saw human settlements, I would pass through that route. A day later, I reached a small place called Fengchao City. That place was situated between a mountain and a river. The spiritual energy there was very weak. Even big sects rarely came there. The city was mostly inhabited by hunters, herb sellers, and traders. The most important thing was that there was very little trouble. I bought a small old house with 2 silver coins. Then hung the jade left by Lu Rian in the room. Buried that incomplete map under the table again. I realized that that thing was really useful for handling the table. I did not increase my strength in the first year of coming to the spiritual world. This time I increased magic power by 1 point. The next moment, the great gushy skill that was slowly rotating inside my body suddenly lit up. The energy of the spiritual world was many times more than that of the world below. For the first time, I clearly felt that a real spiritual source was born inside my body. Had finished. That energy was very weak. Achi's skill started changing again under the influence of the energy of the spiritual world. Now that's just aging. The skill was not there. That became a whole new cultivation art. I named him Xuan Wu Immortal. Kept life art. Name enough. It was heavy, but its effect was equally dangerous. It did not just convert age into powers. The simple thing was that it suppressed my blood, magic power, and divine sense, and made it stronger. That now he becomes more suitable for me to stay hidden. Chew. As my divine sense spread out, the entire Fengchao city appeared before my eyes. I saw a widow selling tofu in the eastern street, who secretly gives money to the blacksmith. I was a drunkard from the western street. Come. Half a month later, a ferocious wolf demon arrived outside Fengchao City. It was just an outsider passing through here, but the next morning the people of the city themselves reached my house. Everyone stood together holding a big board. On that board it was written in golden letters, "Please, become city head, M." The news spread to the surrounding towns, because no one had ever seen such a person before. Kill the wolf demon with a fist. Fengchao City soon became famous, but the name, as it spread, new problems also started coming. Gradually strange people started coming. Somewhere a young man with a sad face carrying a huge sword, somewhere running away from enemies. A girl seeking revenge. A young man talking about returning after 30 years with a broken tooth. My eyes fluttered after seeing all of them. Felt ashamed, but only I understood how important those rules were. Unfortunately, like me, rules did not make much difference to people. But there was a light knock. A familiar voice came from outside. Su Qingran asked softly, "Could she have a cup of tea?" I stood silent for a long time, then finally went and opened the door. Opened. Standing outside the door, Su Qingran. "Hey." "Why did you bring so many people along instead?" Su Qingran said with a sigh that he didn't want to bring them along, but it was necessary for those people to come together. As soon as I heard him, I understood that there was definitely a big problem hidden behind it. I invited him inside. The 8 guardians standing behind also wanted to come inside, but I only took one look towards them. The next moment, the courtyard door closed automatically. All 8. The faces of the guardians changed immediately because you. Both of them knew that that journey would not have been easy. After the tea was made, he took the cup in his hand. Then, she said softly that the taste of tea made by me was still the same as before. I thought in my mind that earlier I was only afraid of the troubles of the world below. Now the troubles of the spiritual world also started following me. Su Qingren laughed lightly after listening to me. She looked exactly like that at that moment, like the little girl who cried holding my arm many years ago. But his smile could not last long. Fatigue returned to his face again. He slowly said that this time she had come to ask for my help. He said that there is big trouble in Shunshao sect. It was over. The master who saved him, his new sect leader, together with Zhengjia's Destiny Hall, took special care of his body, wanted to use powers. They were preparing to open an ancient tomb. If she had refused, the entire Shunshao sect would have come to an end. I remained silent for a while. Su Qingren asked whether he now regretted opening the door. I said that a little bit was definitely happening, but not that much. Su Qingren bowed his head, but a slight smile appeared on his lips. She understood that I meant it clearly. That I have no regrets. Then someone's cold voice echoed from outside the courtyard. People standing outside said that it was the order of the sect leader, and Shu Qingran must return immediately. He warned that if she got involved with any unknown person, so those people will also not show leniency. I said, looking at the chai. People had started climbing their heads even before the chai was over. Su Qingran slowly explained that they had been keeping an eye out for a long time. I nodded and put down the cup of tea. I knew that wherever she reached, trouble would not be far away. As expected, the people of Destiny Hall arrived in the afternoon of the 3rd day. This time a middle-aged man dressed in black had come. He did not attack directly because he was more pure than the elders of Shunshao sect. He stood outside the defense circle and started folding hands from a distance. He revealed his name to be Zhou Fei and said that he had come on the orders of Destiny Hall. He said he wanted to talk to me. Then he asked if I knew that Su Qingran had the Destiny contract. He said that that contract was the key to opening the ancient tomb. I replied in a calm voice that the contract belonged to Su Qingran, not anyone else. Jofi, I asked if I really wanted to stand against Destiny Hall. I said that earlier this was not my intention, but now they themselves had reached my door. Hearing my words, the atmosphere outside suddenly became quiet. Jofi, I didn't expect me to talk so clearly. After some time, he suddenly started laughing. He boasted that Destiny Hall had been standing in Zhangzhou for millions of years. He said that there were countless powerful cultivators present in his hall. Then he asked if I could really fight against fate. I looked at the sky and said in a quiet voice that some people had said such things before too, but in the end they all died. The smile on Zhou Fei's face slowly disappeared. The next moment, 3 copper coins flew out of his sleeve. Those coins got bigger in the air, and a huge magic circle was formed covering the entire area. The strange power of fate began to revolve over that circle. This was the real technology of Destiny Hall. With that power, the fate of humans could be changed. The whole sky suddenly turned black. The people of the village started feeling like this, as if his soul was being pulled out of his body. Su Qingran came to me and said softly that this was the real luck technique, and I must be careful. I nodded, and suddenly caught an invisible fate line in the air. Zhou Fei's eyes widened in fear. That fate line was not even visible to normal humans. But I pulled him out of the air like a rope. I looked at him and said, "This is what is called luck," after observing for a few moments. Free. That now I understood how this technology and the power of luck worked. Zhou Fei's whole body went cold. She had realized that I was no match for her strength. was doing. I was learning his technique just at a glance. Some human being break this line after seeing it for the first time. Such a thing was beyond any monster. Now he had lost his courage. He immediately turned to run away. But I didn't even get up from my place. I just pointed a little finger. An invisible force cut through the air and reached many miles away. The next moment, Zhou Fei, his soul, his defense technique, and all his treasures were in the air, burst into ashes. After that day, the whole Fengxiao town became quiet. Now no one dared to come there. Even the flying animals were away from that area. I finally got some peace, but I knew it was too much. The day will not last. Before dying, Zhao Fei News Zone J. Had sent to. The entire Destiny Hall panicked. The hall leader immediately issued orders. He said that no one will make predictions about me. No one will tease me, and no one will be close to me. We'll go. Anyone breaking the order will be punished immediately. Yes. I replied comfortably that I had to stay here for the time being. I said a few more years of strength. After increasing, when no one will be able to touch me, then life will seem more comfortable. Shu Qingran asked what would happen to him then. I turned to him. After that, a new rumor spread in Fengxiao village. People started saying that the girl in white came from a very big family. But in front of the head of the family, she became like a compat me. Some people are lucky like me. String. My strength had reached 55. My body had become stronger by level 25. My magic power also increased to 5. My divine sense now extends up to 1,000 miles. My body had also reached such a state that I, myself, okay. Su Qingran was standing on the veranda, looking at me, and said that my words were sometimes too arrogant. It seemed that, after thinking seriously, I replied that in future I will try to speak less. But peace could not last long. J had appeared ahead of time, and one of the keys to unlocking it was Shu Qingran's destiny. The contract was with Destiny Hall, Great Hero Land, Wanyao Mountain, and Wuliang Sword. The sect simultaneously announced a reward for whoever sh tore the poster and threw it in the fire. The light of the fire was falling on my face. I said in a calm voice, said that if those people wanted to find me, it was better that I reach them myself. Then I got up slowly and clothing. It was so huge that ordinary cultivators could roam around all their lives and still not be able to cross it. But for me, it was just a few jumps away. Half an hour later, Su Xingran and I, standing at the main door of Destiny Hall. There the long range of mountains was visible. The stars were shining like a magic circle in the sky. 99 high platforms were floating above the clouds. The whole scene looked like an immortal people. The main door of the hall was first. From. I liked him much better than Zhou Fei. At least he was not threatening as soon as he came. Lin Sun remained silent for a while, then started telling the truth. He said that first of all the great hero land, Ku Holy Lord raised this matter. Wanyao Mountain immediately supported him. Yang, the sword sect, also agreed without thinking. This is destiny. I was forced to participate in this because everyone thought that Shu Qingran was the one who found that ancient tomb. It was the real key to open it. I asked what the real truth was. Who had fallen from the outside world. According to the story, before dying, that Immortal had corrupted the entire Changdi land. Later, several Immortals of the Ling word came together to seal him. Was Lin San told that the tomb was going to be opened tonight. The name of that place was Guishu of Changdi. There was the gate. I nodded. Lin San hesitated for a moment, then said that there would be a lot of. The great man was coming. The Holy Lord of Great Hero Land. Or I said in a calm voice that I was not afraid of humans. I was just strange. Things used to be troublesome. After leaving the Destiny Hall, Su Qing ran, and I did not stop. All the people of Jiangzhou went straight towards Changdi. It was in the eastern part. When we reached the night had fallen, the whole sea was like a huge, looking like a black coffin. A huge black gate floated in the air in the middle of the ocean. Was there? Its height was more than thousands of meters. On that, count-like plants and golden light were spread nearby. The whole atmosphere became quiet. Then I asked him directly what he thought he was doing. The veins on Jibo Chang's forehead emerged. He asked angrily if I really wanted to be the enemy of the whole world. I thought for a while with a serious face. Then he said that earlier I had come just to talk, but after seeing the way people talk, now, I didn't feel like talking. Ji Buochang laughed angrily and said that he would see today. How powerful is the man who came from the mortal world? He raised his hand. The next moment, a huge bronze vessel emerged in the air, as soon as he appeared, all the spiritual energy around started getting suppressed. Even the water of the sea became dozens of. The meters sank down. The next moment, that huge bronze vessel fell straight towards me. Pad. But my feet did not sink even an inch into the ground. Cultivators standing all around kept listening. Jibo Chang's face changed with fear. He couldn't believe it. I tossed the bronze vessel in his hand and looked at it. Come again. Oh. Shouted that I should move immediately, but it was too late. Aloud. With a bang, the entire bronze vessel broke into pieces in my hands, approximately. The pieces started falling into the sea, leaving the soul as if it were a stone. I remained standing. I picked up the biggest broken piece and kept it in my bag, then said softly that later I would make a vessel for boiling water from it. The crowd had not yet come out of the shock. Then Wuliang's sword sect. The sound of sharp swords echoed from the side. An old man with thousands of flying swords descended from the sky. his beard and hair flying in the wind, more dangerous than his body. A killing aura was emanating. She said angrily that someone. The next moment, millions of flying swords fell towards me like rain, the entire night. The sky was filled with white light. I stood in my place, then I slowly. Fingers moved forward. As soon as the swords came closer to me, suddenly she turned in the air. It seemed as if she had collided with an invisible wall. The moment I closed my fists, the entire stream of swords started shrinking together, millions of them flying. The swords were crushed and formed into a huge iron ball. The entire sword sect suddenly became quiet. Only then will the black door in the middle of the sea shine. Felt. Shuchingren's face turned a little white. He said in a low voice that behind the door, the thing was looking at me. Me too. I had realized the same thing. It was not an illusion. Something was really staring at me behind the door. The next moment, the entire black door began to tremble violently. A huge black chain broke out from within, present there. All. The hand came out. That hand was completely normal in appearance, but as soon as it came out, all the spiritual energy present within 10,000 miles died. It was really dead. Now she was not flowing. No one could even feel her. A powerful culti. Blood was being burnt to save. Some were sacrificing their life. Some people were on the ground out of fear. But he started bowing his head on his knees. But it was of no use. The thing inside was slowly coming out, and looking at him, I said that for the first time I had seen something that looked like a bigger problem than me. White Immortal slowly raised his hand, then pointed straight at me. That's the moment I felt real danger for the first time. The ground beneath my feet began to break. The blood in my body started flowing backwards. Even the immortal skill of my body started trembling violently. I looked down towards my arm, saw a small crack had formed on it. I said in a calm voice that after coming to Ling World, this was the first time that someone even broke my skin. But why? I looked up at that crack. Then suddenly I realized that if this thing is left open, so in the future I won't even have a place to live comfortably. Thinking this, I exhaled deeply. I said that I had just come to explain, but every time I have to do the cleaning in the end. Had to. Shuchingren looked at me and said softly that if I could not win this time, I would have to run away immediately. Should go. I looked at her and asked what she was talking about. Then I said in a calm voice that my home was still in Fengchao town. The broken bronze vessel kept under my table was also lying there. After saying this, I took a step forward. This time I stopped suppressing the strength of my body. I did it. I left my blood, my strength, and my real body wide open, like. My whole aura came out. The whole gender word came out. Putha, the mountains and seas spanning 10,000 miles began to move together, which the cultivators had just. He was running till, due to the pressure of my life energy, he fell on his knees on the ground. White. 9 black chains were broken. By breaking the black chains tied on Immortal's body, turned into a dragon. They all rushed towards me. I caught hold of the first dragon with my hand. Then, he swung it like a whip and hit it on another dragon. The second dragon exploded at the same time. I crushed the third dragon with my foot. The fourth. The dragon hugged my waist, but he could not tighten it completely. That broke right there due to the strength of my body. The heads of the cultivators standing far away were heard. Many people started screaming out of fear that a human being can only by the strength of his body. How could one break such chains? White Immortal understood that it was not easy to suppress me with direct force. He suddenly raised his hand towards the sky. The huge black crack above got bigger. Countless black shadows started coming out from inside that crack. It seemed as if they wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to enter Lingward. Linson's condition due to fear. It got spoiled. She said in a lustful voice that White Immortal. Year. Now I understand what they meant. The white immortal sensed my hesitation. The next moment, he suddenly disappeared. When he appeared again, then he was standing directly in front of Su Qingran. He extended his hand and tried to catch hold of her soul. White golden chains immediately began to emerge from Su Qingran's body. She began to stop the white immortal with all her might, but his power was too weak in front of him. My eyes grew cold at that very moment. I said angrily that he wanted to die. The next moment I disappeared from my place. Actually, I didn't disappear. My speed was so fast that the eyes of a human being present there couldn't see me. When I appeared again, I was standing behind White Immortal, my hand on his, was tucked inside the chest. The whole world became quiet again. The White Immortal slowly lowered. Look, I have a black throbbing ball in my hand. Chi. That white light began to break rapidly, but he didn't die immediately. A crack slowly opened on his flat face. She looked like a mouth. The next moment, a heavy and broken voice echoed straight into my mind. He said that he had finally met me. My eyes narrowed. I asked if he knew me. White Immortal said he didn't know me, but he knew people like me. Knew. His voice started breaking, his body. It also started disintegrating rapidly. I immediately asked what happened after that. White Immortal, silent for a moment, remained. Then he opened his mouth for the last time. He said only 4 words: that I should not go up. Should. As soon as he said this, his body, white, was saved because they had seen with their own eyes that I had killed an immortal by hand. I stood silent for a long time. Shu Qingran slowly came near me. She carefully looked towards me, looked and asked if I was okay. I was just worrying about trouble. Then inside the wide open black door, a faint light flashed. My divine sense immediately went in that direction. The very next moment, mine face a little changed, especially the fact that there were other people like me present. In the end, I nodded my head, then said that we will go inside and see, and then return immediately. I took a step forward and straight reached inside the black door. Shoo! Ching! Stood alone. In front of the palace, a half-broken stone slab was stuck in the ground. On it, the language of Ling word was not written. No, there were any old magical marks. The writing on it was like this, whom I know very well. They were simple modern letters. I stood in front of the stone slab for the first time. I was really shocked. Su Qingran couldn't understand those characters. She asked softly, what was written on it? I silently read it for some time, kept watching, then started reading slowly. It was written on it that if a person reads these words, if it was, then the writer had already failed. He had written that like me. He too had come from some other world. That too slowly with the help of time. Had reached this upper world first, could give man the strength to live a long life with me. I stood silent for a long time. Su Qingran stood beside me. He didn't bother me. Even if she can't read handwriting, but she understood the expression on my face. There was no fear in my eyes. There was only a strange peace found after a very long time. Both of us slowly reached inside the stone palace, saw a small bronze seal floating in the air in the middle of the palace. There was no spiritual energy in him, but he had the same aura feeling as me. As soon as I fucked her, I understood her power. Came so quickly as if he had already decided. I smiled slightly. I just came out to end the trouble. But at last I had found the trace left by another person like me. It seemed as if he had left a lamp for me in the dark. Before leaving the palace, I took one last look at the ruined world. Then I threw a punch forward. The whole gray world, the stone palace, and the black door started collapsing together. Within a few moments, everything disappeared in the ward. I wanted to end that place forever. Because if that white immortal could come out once, so could have come another time also. Things that could ruin my peaceful life. It was always better for them to remain suppressed. After returning to Changdi, there was complete silence all around. I looked at the people standing in all directions, then said in a calm voice, if anyone in front, if he tries to find the way to my house, I will personally go and sit at the door of his sect. Someone has to answer after listening to me. But every person present there understood that this warning was not an oath. It was too heavy. Alright guys, the moment we hit 1,000 subscribers, part 2 goes up that same day, no waiting. So if you don't want to miss it, make sure you subscribe right now so you're the first to know when it drops. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in part 2.